Hey everybody, Nate Peo here. You've probably heard you should be networking on LinkedIn if you want to meet new clients. We have no idea where to begin. What I've done is I've created a 5-step guide to help make your profile stand out and helping you get started connecting. When you start building your network, you're going to start attracting more leads. So it's easy. Head on over to my website, natepeo.com, sign up and get my 5 steps of standing out on LinkedIn. And I'll show you how to start building your network.
From author Donnie Bovine comes the book, How to Be a Success Champion, available on Amazon. After years of living other people's dreams, author Donnie Bovine decided to jump out on his own and start a business, thinking it would be easy. Instead, he had a rude awakening and quickly understood that he had spent 20 years being an employee and had no idea how to be a business owner. His business was tanking, and he was on the brink of losing everything when he decided to fight for business freedom. In this must-read and life-changing book, author Donnie Bovine shares with readers his story intermingled with lessons learned from his mistakes and his failures. In How to Be a Success Champion, you will find advice the author received from mentors and how he went from zero to a 6-figure business. The author walks you through the steps of how to get out of your own way, how to play the game of business and win, find your strengths, how to network effectively, how to build a personal brand, how to create champions for your business, how to get great at sales, how to take complete ownership of you and your business. How to Be a Success Champion from author Donnie Bovine, available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback editions. Order your copy right now. It makes a great book for corporate events too. How to Be a Success Champion from author Donnie Bovine, available on Amazon.
Want to go far in business and in life? You can't do it alone. The secret is expanding your network of personal relationships, building friendships, connecting on an intimate level, away from the office, over a coffee or cocktail. Welcome to All In with the real Nate Peo. The show that asks what happens when you go all in and leverage the power of your network of personal relationships.
Hello, and welcome to the All In podcast with Nate Peo. Of course, I am your host, Nate Peo. Today, I'm joined with Anthony Bernard McCauley. Anthony is a native of Thomasville, North Carolina. He's written 5 books, Setback for the Comeback first and second editions, and his new release, Chronicles of Hope. Anthony has also collaborated with authors around the United States to create such published works as Discover Your Splendor and Pass the Mustard Seed. He has completed numerous credits towards a BS degree in psychology and holds an AA in human services from Guilford Technical Community College. Anthony has vocational training as a drug and alcohol treatment specialist from Monmouth University, West Long Branch, New Jersey. He's working on an internship to become a certified substance abuse counselor. By serving as a member of Toastmasters International, he's been given the opportunity to enhance his public and motivational skills by completing different levels of speaking competency within the organization. In 1998, he received the national recognition of Astounding Young Men of America. Anthony strongly believes in order for him to keep what he has, he must freely give it away. Mr. McCauley has many continuing education credits and career diplomas in such areas as leadership development, social work, mentoring relationships, strategic planning. He's a commercial drone pilot, has completed requirements with the Federal Aviation Administration and North Carolina Department of Transportation. He has received his life coaching certification from New Skills Academy in Wales, England, and currently works with juveniles in a mentoring capacity. In 2017, he realized there was a need for additional support for families and communities that focus on building self-esteem, improving the well-being of students within the school systems who need guidance, support, and role models. He began this research with juvenile justice and those males who find themselves making bad choices. He thought that he can use his experience, strength, and hope to bring together males affected by making poor life decisions. And after brainstorming and writing out thoughts and ideas, founded and became CEO of Males of Distinction, a nonprofit organization. Welcome to the show, Anthony. How are you?
And I'm doing wonderful, man. What a great bio read there, man. It's a pleasure. It's such a pleasure to have this opportunity to sit with you for this few minutes. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So I'm really drawn to this comment that you had in your bio, which was in order to keep what you have, you need to give it freely away. So like,
Yes.
what's kind of been that discovery process of having that mindset?
Well, Nate, I lived a life of, I did some things in my life and had some overcoming experiences that were not conducive to how I was raised. I led a lifestyle in my 30s of addictive behaviors that have led me to now give back to a population of people who may be dealing with substance abuse issues. And overcoming power of, I've went from overdose to CEO, Nate.
Mm-hmm.
And I freely give that away now to those and who are still sick and suffering from the chemical dependency and addictive behaviors.
Yeah, that's a struggle to overcome, and there's something to be said. Like, hey, if you give it away, you give out your knowledge, your gifts away, it's going to come back to you in the reward of people say karma or goodwill and stuff like that. But I think it's truly important that when you've discovered your gift, that you have a calling to share that gift with the world. So I just really resonated with that statement and a mindset to have. And I think so few people really embrace that as wholeheartedly as you have and put that first and foremost in their statements. So awesome stuff, man.
I used to be ashamed of that part of my life because after all, I was a standout athlete in high school, and some injuries curved me from going to college and even getting on a professional level. But once my brain got a taste of something that felt so good to me that took my dopamine receptors and all those other things out of whack, it became a way of life because my body started craving those things. Mm-hmm. So for me to be sitting in front of you today is definitely a blessing.
Yeah, for sure. So that kind of leads me to my first question, which is this idea around luck. Do you believe in luck? What are your thoughts around that word? What does it mean to you?
When I hear, and that's a good question. I hear people talk about, oh man, I was lucky. That was luck. I always look at it two ways: as blessings or curses. Mm-hmm. And that's just my spiritual nature that I live my life by. Doesn't mean everything is always chipper every day, but I base my life now on some spiritual principles that I have to stand on because I've already tried it my way, Nate. Mm-hmm. And Anthony gets in the way and he will make a mess out of it. But luck, to me, I always say blessings.
I like that choice.
It's a natural thing for people to say, hey, you're lucky, So I said, no, I'm blessed. So
yeah, yes, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about males of distinction. And, I think that there's no bigger impact you can have on the world than making a difference in young children, young men's life, or young people in that sense, not just males, but everybody. When you could shape somebody's future and craft a different reality from what they know, you can make a huge impact. So maybe you can walk through your story a little bit and what led you to the idea of founding this and what your purpose is with the Males of Distinction nonprofit.
I was always in a state of serving others from a capacity of being in Big Brothers, Big Sisters organization, being a mentor that way. And my last position, I've always been in a corporate type setting in professional work, playing a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type role, sitting in board meetings in the daytime, but at nighttime on the streets doing ungodly things and trying to make it to a board meeting the next morning, and playing that role. But as I look back, the last position I had when I moved from Jacksonville, Florida, back to North Carolina, I was the in-school mentor coordinator with a local organization. And it put me and set me up right in an area of a call that I already knew that I had on my life, but I ran from it because I was just afraid and had a fear that why would I be the one to have to give back and be used to pour into the lives of young people? But I loved it. So once I got into that in-school mentoring coordinator, I had about 7 schools that I had to go in and get referrals from counselors and match these young men and young ladies as well with one-on-one mentors within a community setting. So I was finding as I was doing that, those kids have to be on a waiting list while I go out and do public speaking and engage with civic organizations to try to get mentors one-on-one to come into the school systems. And it has to work within that person's schedule because the schools only allow you to come in at certain times of the days. You can't come in when they're doing core curriculum classes. So I found out that while I was going into these schools, there were so many young men that I was seeing that were being disrespectful, classroom disruptions, and I felt like they needed some more. But one of the things that I was given was in the schools that I served, I had a connection with a lot of the Black males as well as some of the kids of other socioeconomic statuses who always cling to me because I'm a big guy, Nate, and I walk in and everybody's, here comes Mr. Anthony, but I'm a gentle giant. I don't want them to always know that though, because they do take advantage.
Bark is worse than the bite.
Exactly. So as I began to brainstorm a little bit more and get involved with more of juvenile justice and some of the things we were doing with the other organizations, I felt like it was time for me to branch out and walk into a vision that was given to me a long time ago. So I began to engage these young men in a community setting. And I said, you know what? I need to turn this into a nonprofit and begin to really, really engage these young men because they had no life skills. They don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to socially interact. They don't even know things like changing a flat or even raising the hood on a car and how to check the oil. I think those things are very important. That's why I named it Males of Distinction, because they're not men yet. I tell them, I help the young men transition from being a male into manhood, and males is making achievable life-enhancing strides. And I tell them the reason why it's Males of Distinction, because distinction means you're set apart. Mm-hmm. You're set apart to do things different than what your peers are doing. You're set apart for character development and success building. And this vision is built off of character, like I said, character development. I base it off the 7 domains of life of academics, education, housing, finance, employment, culture and community, life skills, physical, mental health, and finances. And I teach these young men these areas, but Nate, there's a challenge because if you've never had anybody that come in and try to give you things to enhance your self-esteem and your self-worth, and you're with me for an hour in a community setting, and you go back home into an environment that's unhealthy, then that's a challenge in itself. But you do have a young man that may say, Mr. Anthony, thank you for telling me about how to change a flat tire, or thank you for helping me with my grades. But I'm big right now with my young men on academics, and I'm finding that I have some boys that are transitioning into a high school area right now who are on 2nd and 3rd grade reading levels. So now I'm able to identify that's why you're being disruptive in class. They're afraid to tell the teacher that they can't read. Mm-hmm. So we're addressing that in this organization because under the Males of Distinction umbrella now, I have 6 core initiative programs that can engage in any area of these young men's lives. Any young man that comes through this program has no excuse to say that nobody never led them or told them anything positive about life.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you've talked about a lot of stuff is like the idea that there's men I guess they're not men, they're males, and they're disadvantaged in the fact that, like you said, they may not know how to read appropriately, and they're afraid to reach out and say like, hey, I need some help. So they don't have a support group. And then you go and you show them like, hey, I'm going to introduce you to ideas of little things that you could do to better yourself. But that hour's over and you go back to, a home environment that maybe doesn't foster that doesn't encourage you to pursue these things and sucks you back in. So you're facing an uphill challenge, especially like no matter where you're at in life. I think men are always have this like guard up that like you can't admit weakness and failure, and to say like, hey, I can't read. Like nobody wants to say that they can't, because then they're admitting that they're maybe not as strong as they could, or that, so they make excuses and don't pursue this. But I think there needs to be this idea that you can talk about things that bother you openly and say, hey, this is where I lack and I need some help, some support to take me in a position of learning new skills, new ways of being, and showing like that there's another path. And once you kind of set this idea that some things are possible, maybe you get some small wins and build some momentum, and you can steer somebody into bigger influences in life. Maybe they're not going to take that path that you had gone down, the path of drug abuse and addiction, but now they're going to take a path of supporting and inspiring the success of others and doing things that they didn't think was possible in themselves. So I think it's an amazing thing. So who are some of like the stories that you've done where you've made a positive influence in people's lives, like you've set out to do?
Well, I've had a young man that I have contact with, and this young man is sort of my right-hand man. He's an AB honor roll student, and I recently, last year, I was voted everyday hero for the area here in North Carolina that I serve, and that was a great accomplishment. The local news come out and they interviewed me, and as well as they interviewed him as well, and the success, and to hear this young man on camera say that they call Nate, in North Carolina, in this area, if you say Mr. Anthony, everybody knows who you're talking about. So he said on camera that I love the way Mr. Anthony teaches me things. And just when I thought that he wasn't getting it, but I knew he was, because he was an AB honor roll student. Mm-hmm. And he was very quiet, never bothered anybody, but he was very diligent in showing up and being at a regular meeting setting all the time. And I was able to guide and assist him with some character development things. And he pointed it out, man, on camera. He had all his medals and highest social studies average. And just when you think that they don't have a mind of being positive, somebody's getting it, you know? And it's different for them when they hear someone tell them that you have a purpose for your life.
Yeah, that's amazing to be told that, be called out in public, because so often the influence you're doing on others doesn't get rewarded. Nobody comes up and tells you like, hey, you've really made an impact. They just kind of go about their business, and to them it's impacting, but they forget to go back and share that with you. And so sometimes you think like, hey man, is what I'm doing working? Is it really worth my time? Am I getting through to anybody? So I always encourage people, like, go out and share your appreciation for people that are making an influence in your life, so that they know that like, hey, what they're doing matters. They are making a difference. So, and I
had to learn how to accept that, Nate, because I never wanted to, and people come, Mr. Anthony, you're doing a great job. And I'm like, okay, well, that's just what I do. And within this local community, I love the community. People tell me all the time, man, we believe in what you're doing. And even when it comes to giving donations and things like that, I had to learn how to accept those things and accept the fact that I was walking in providing resources, but that was part of the vision. But I didn't know how to accept the accolades because I didn't want it to seem like I was being arrogant or anything, but that's not what it is. People should, and I do the same thing. If you do something nice, I need to tell you about it.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So where do you think, where's your vision for Males of Distinction 5 years, 10 years from now?
I would love to see, and right now I have been planting seeds. The vision is global, okay? And my goal, I don't know why I keep saying this, but I want to impact 1 million kids. And that could be done through virtual, online, mentoring. But I see Males of Distinction. Right now, we are getting ready to go into 3 local counties that are surrounding me right now. So that's part of it. So being able to set up chapter affiliations and have those chapter affiliations in place. But I got to get over my selfishness because I need to duplicate myself in these counties. and and you have to be willing, and you have to know that this is not, it's not easy. When you're dealing with some adolescents and they're dealing with the adolescents, and you got a 12-year-old young man that's getting some whiskers, and he don't know what's going on. He's all over the place. And I've actually had a kid look at me and size me up. I'm like, what's wrong with you, young man? Are you crazy? But you got to know how to deal with that when it comes along, and just teach them. Those are teaching moments. But males of distinction, the bigger vision is to grow it globally and to have different chapters. And we are in the process. I do everything right here in my little sunroom office off of my house is where my office is. And there's so much creativity coming out of here, Nate.
Yeah. Well, I see there being like a funnel of people that come into the program. They learn, their life has changed, and maybe they go back out into the career world. They have a little bit of success, and they realize, like, hey, I need to give back. Like, I've come this far. I need to help others learn the lessons I did. If I hadn't learned this, I'd probably ended up in a different direction in life, and reach back, lift other people up, and going back out there. And you say, hey, maybe those are the people that start the next chapter, or, they take over the chapter you founded, and you go and you set up another one, because it is one of those things where you're making a huge impact, but you can't do it alone. And you need people that really get it from the ins and outs of it, that have had a life of, this is who I am. I'm called to do this, and I'm very passionate. I'm going to get up there and do it no matter what. The days I don't want it to go, the days I don't feel like it, I'm still getting up and supporting these kids. So
that's powerful, because when I look at this, I used to, at 17 years old, Nate, I knew that I had a call on my life, and I was actually shown a spiritual vision about some of the things that a platform that I was on, and it scared the heck out of me, man. And that's why I ran for so many years. But being able, this is a ministry to me. And I tell these young, I don't drive. I'm not Bible thumping in their heads and things of that nature, but I have to live a certain way and be influential with my character, so they can't come back and say, well, you know what, man, Mr. Anthony got arrested, or anything like that. So, and I do want to groom a young man to be able to go to college and get a business degree or some type of degree and come back. And you know what? I can say, you run it. You grew up in this organization. You followed the path, and you got the tools, and you took them, and you went to college. Here's an organization for you. I would love to do that.
I see a lot of power behind that. So let me ask you my next question. What does it mean to you to be all in on an idea or an outcome?
Wow. I love that question, because for so many years, I call myself straddling the fence. And if you're straddling, you're just like this. So you're not all the way in. And when you have an idea and things are clicking forward, and I notice a lot of times, Nate, I can have an idea and things just seem to go wayward. It doesn't work at all. So I don't need to be following up on that idea, because that's not just the path I need to take. Being all in means surrender to me. Surrender to the idea and the vision that you have, and go for it. You can't do it halfway. And it's not instant gratification. I used to thrive off of instant gratification. It's my money and I want it now, So now, being all in with what I'm doing right now, I've created some streams of income, and I'm all in with them. Like my drone pilot's license. I took a workshop and I said, I love this idea, because the industry, what's taking place in the future, I need this to teach my young men. So I became a drone pilot, and that was not an easy task. The FAA don't play, man. So I taught myself longitude, latitude, airspace, clouds, crew resource management, all those things dealing with that. So now I'm able to teach these young men who can't go to a community college and pay for 1 week $200 camp. They don't have to. They got me. Mm-hmm. And so all in means either you're adding to or you're taking away. So I'd rather enhance what's going on. So I got to be all in. So all the chips are in, Nate.
You got it. That's a great answer for the question. And I like what you're doing with the drone and teaching the kids to use the drone, because kids in school, they get taught things and they go, when am I ever going to need this? Why do I need to know latitude and longitude? Yes. Why do I need to know geometry? Why do I need to know algebra? And you say, because this is what makes the drone fly. And what can you do with the drone? This leads, if you knew how to fly, that leads you to a ton of opportunities. There's cameras and videos that could be done. There's surveying. There's all kinds of stuff that drones
are. Maintenance.
Yeah, there's just so much, like it's almost like unlimited what people could do with drones. And it's just like, hey, you learn this skill as a kid, because when your kids are like, you pick up those video game type habits really, really easy. You're going to be a master of that and go out and have a skill that other people don't have, and you're going to be able to like build a career off of it as a launching pad into something else, if just by knowing and just kind of like identifying, like, this is why the stuff you're learning's important.
That's right, Nate, because under the Males of Distinction umbrella, we got 6 initiative core programs. And we have a jiu-jitsu training academy. I have a professor who trained the Hartford, Connecticut Police Department, and he does it free and comes in. The kids love the jiu-jitsu, the boys and the girls. Up under the Males of Distinction umbrella, we have Ladies of Merit. Mm-hmm. And merit is marvelous, empowered, radiance, inspiring truth. Nate, I love acronyms, man. And I create everything with acronyms. Like, this organization is ran on CIA principles: character, integrity, and accountability, not the Civil Intelligence Agency.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, we have the jiu-jitsu program. I also run a school impact program. It's called Impact is I'm Making Positive Action Changes Today. In each school, I get referrals from some young men who need some guidance. And from week to week, their whole attitude changes because I set the stage immediately. If you're having classroom disruptions, by the time I get back next week, you can't come to the program. So they straighten up. Mm-hmm. Hey, I made this on my test. Can I come? So we have that part. Then I have a Star Lab co-op, Nate. That Star Lab is students taking academic responsibility. I'm able to do math, reading, and language arts diagnostics on these kids, find out what's going on through an algorithm of what's happening in their brain. That's how I'm finding out that I got a lot of students who are on 2nd, 3rd grade math levels. But it gives them an individualized learning path just for them. However, to get a kid to log in virtually to do academics is a challenge. Mm-hmm. So, but they have at their disposal in this area, and that's a global co-op. And I get curriculum through a portal called Edmentum, which is a worldwide portal where school districts pull curriculum from. So we have access to that as well.
Yeah. So I got another source of income for you. An idea is you need to sell acronym naming services. So somebody's like out there, they go, "Hey, I need an acronym," and you just bang that out for them, right?
And I come up with them, Nate. I come up with them all the time, and I think about acronym. I'm like, okay, what can I make out of this acronym right here? Out of this word, and it's crazy, man.
Awesome stuff. So talk a little bit about the people you're trying to connect with. Who is that ideal person or people that you're looking to get in front of and talk about what you're up to?
Wow, that's a good question, because that's been, you see people have a passion to want to help. Okay, but when the rubber meets the road, sometimes the discouraging part is, if I take 25 young men to a football game, I can't do that by myself. Mm-hmm. And, I need leaders who have the challenge is a lot of leaders will say, I don't have time. Well, yes, you do. You do have time. It's commitment and recognizing that you can get involved in a healthy way. And I got some great leaders. All of my leaders here in this area are retired military. Our program is housed at one of the local American Legion posts who freely let us have our meetings there. And so we got retired military there. However, they're retired. They're older gentlemen. And they I can understand sometimes, man, I don't really want to be around 30 boys today. I understand that. But I need committed, vision-oriented people who are part of this movement and recognize that if we don't start mentoring our young boys and our young women, we are going to lose a whole generation of kids who have no goals and aspirations set, and they're going to become quitters.
Awesome. So somebody's looking to get connected with you. Where can they go to find you?
Man, that's a great one, man. I got all kind of things. We are at www.malesofdistinction.com. I'm also on Facebook. We have a Males of Distinction page, as well as Anthony McCauley. And under Facebook, and Facebook is a great platform. But I have some other platform, as well as I am the community leader on convenecommunities.com. I am the community leader for the Hope and Support group. And I have a lot of groups set up there, a lot of experiences set up there. So that's more of the platform that I'm willing to send people to, is convenecommunities.com.
Awesome. So I'll link all that stuff in the show notes. Okay. Encourage everybody to reach out to you, Mr. Anthony. And if they do, tell them where they found you and connect. And if you're one of those people out there that's listening, you want to go be a leader in the community, like, hey, step up and support Anthony. It's awesome stuff that you're doing. I like I said, making a difference in kids' lives is huge, and it's probably one of the most impactful things you could do in the world to make it a better place to be in. So, wishing you.
Thank you for having this platform, because I've looked at some of the YouTube videos. You're connecting people with real life and real experiences, man. I just want to thank you. I want to give a shout out to Lisa Herring as well, who connected us.
Yeah.
And she asked me, Anthony, what do you think? And I was like, let's do it. You know I love to talk. So I just want to thank you, and what a pleasure it is to meet you in California here, and I am in North Carolina. Yeah. I think that's so amazing how we can connect, man. So this is just the beginning of hopefully another opportunity.
I think so, for sure. Well, it's great having you. I enjoyed this conversation a ton.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Make sure to visit our website, therealnatepeo.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, so you'll never miss an episode of All In. While you're at it, if you found value, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if simply tell 2 friends about the show. Looking to connect? You can find Nate Peo on LinkedIn or Instagram.